Sister! Sister Carissa, wake up! Wake up, sister! Hello? I'm talking to you! Can you see me? Can you see me, sister?
Sorry.
What are you sorry for? Can you hear me, see me, anything? Any response other than sorry?
It's been a long night.
A long night doing what? All you do is sit. Long night moving your eyes?
Bleeding.
Oh, well. Have they not stopped that yet?
They don't know what is causing it.
Well, where you bleeding from?
All.
Oh, God, sister. Well, I guess you just keep bleeding and keep bleeding. You know what I'm saying? Come on. We got stuff to do.
I love Leona Lewis. I keep bleeding. Keep bleeding, love.
Oh, well, if that's all you're bleeding, come on. Can you move your scooter?
Can you help me into the chair, sister?
No, you can press the button right next to you to call a nurse. I'm not doing that. You're gross. And you're bleeding. Oh, sister, there's blood everywhere. Oh, my God. How are you not dead?
The nurses don't come until 3.
What do you mean they don't come until 3? There should be nurses all the time. Look, is that why your wounds are all bloody?
The nurses don't come until 3.
I'm going to press this page nurse button, see what happens. Boop.
No one will come.
No need to get sassy with me, sister. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be alive.
You didn't do anything to save me.
Well, that's just entirely not true.
Now I'm a computer.
Well, you're not a computer. You're still a person. You have a computer voice. I mean, it's honestly better than your other voice. I can understand you better. You don't sound as old and raspy. You look worse than ever. And I think your blood has an infection because you kind of stink. But you sound good.
You are never very nice.
Who the hell are you to talk to me like that, sister? You're lucky I'm even here right now.
We are equals now, no.
How do you figure? I'm your caretaker.
The cult is over.
What?
The cult is over.
What are you saying to me?
The cult. You know, the cult you ran until the FBI ended it.
The cult I ran, Sister Carissa? The cult I ran that you never ran ever?
Yes, it's over.
Look, I know it's over because everybody's dead. You're half alive. I got a fucking useless marble helping me. I don't even know where she is.
Then we're equal.
How are we equal? I'm better than you in every way. Look, I got legs. I can walk. Can you?
You are so cruel.
Titty twister. Titty twister, Sister Carissa. What are you gonna do? You feel like your nips are getting hard. Ooh, nice and red.
I can't feel the cheaty twister, but I am disturbed.
Well, listen, you're a cult leader, bitch. You knew this shit was coming. You think you could have a nice ending? It's not even your ending yet. You're a cult leader.
I didn't even know I was in a cult until 2 weeks ago.
How did you not know?
Father Andrew kept it under wraps.
Oh, okay, sister, I'm sorry, but you're weak-minded. You were already in a cult before I found you. You were already having cruel things done to you. All I did was take over the role of doing the cruel things. Do you have these negative feelings about Father Andrew?
But I thought you were my friend. Andrew was always a disgusting human.
What possibly made you think we were friends? We were business partners at most.
You were a ray of sunshine.
I'm sorry?
You were a ray of sunshine.
I don't like your sarcastic computer ass. I don't like it whatsoever. And I think your ideas are stupid. They didn't do anything for me. The ISIS video did nothing. All it did was get pee all over me.
It got millions of retweets.
What the fuck is a retweet?
Retweet.
Okay, it got millions of retweets, but I got tons of negative press coverage over it. Sure, Sister No is a household name, but not in any good way. Nothing's came of it. All my members are gone.
That's not my fault. You did black magic.
I don't like you. You don't have any sense of accountability, sister. You were involved in all of this. I could wheel your wheelchair ass up to the authorities right now and disappear with my black magic, could you? No, you just sit there motionless, bleeding.
The bleeding has never stopped, has it?
No, there's a big puddle you're sitting on.
Doctor?
I'm not your doctor.
Nurse?
No. No, 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 no. Let's just wheel you out of here. Come on. We're gonna leave now, sister.
Where are you taking me?
You're coming with me on your own volition.
Where are we going, then?
I don't fucking know. You tell me, sister. You were the idea person. What do we do?
Have you ever been to Boise, Idaho? I hear it's lovely this time of year.
We're in the middle of all of this shit, and you want to go to all places. Boise, Idaho.
They invented curbside to go.
Did they? Applebee's?
In Boise, yes.
Listen, sister. Do you know what Sister Marble is?
She left, remember? You told her she was worthless while I was having a stroke, and then she left, sobbing.
Yes, but do you know where she is now? I'm trying to find her. Half a brain, Carissa.
Shifty eyes, shifty eyes.
Cringe ass bitch. I'm taking you to the police right now, you cringe bitch.
No, don't.
I'm taking you, bitch.
Please.
Tell me where Sister Marble is.
She's
Where is she?
She's
She's what? You having a glitch?
She's working somewhere safe.
Can you be a little more descriptive? I'm trying to find my fucking marble. Listen, we're about 3 blocks away from the police station. I could get there in 10 minutes.
I don't feel like I can betray her trust. Marble was my closest friend, and she at least cared about my health.
Do I not care about your health? Aren't I the one who, I don't know, came to pick you up?
You left me here to stroke and die in the street.
What's your point, sister? I'm sorry. Is that what you want to hear? I'm sorry.
Sister Marble works as the little ball inside a spray paint can in a museum somewhere.
She what? Good work she's gotten. Listen, Sister Carissa, I gotta be real honest with you. Thank you for the information. But I don't think you're a valuable part of the team anymore, and I think unfortunately, we've had to make a few cuts. There are budget considerations we have to keep in mind.
What?
You are a cripple, and I don't think that you are of any value to me anymore.
You owe me.
I owe you what? What do you want, $1?
You can't leave me here to die again.
Again? You never died. Stop being so dramatic. You had a massive stroke that took away half your brain. Dim-witted Carissa, that's what I should start calling you, dimwit.
But you left me here to die. Thank the Lord above I didn't. But you left me here to die, and now you're going to abandon me again. Wow. Should have held out longer on that tidbit of info.
Well, you've never been good with being smart, sister. What did you think would happen? Have I ever respected you? Think one time where I might have respected your opinion, but you've had so many bad ideas that now I have nothing. I've done everything perfectly. I've done all the spells perfectly. The only thing that's been messed up is listening to you, which was not perfect. That's my mistake. I can admit faults. Can you?
I thought you and I would grow to love each other while taking on
What?
this adventure together.
What? I'm not a lesbian, you fucking gross-ass, gay-ass bitch.
Platonically.
I'm not no. Ew, no. I always knew you were.
Platonically.
Platonically, that's why you got the ass haircut? When I dropped you off, you had hair, now you're bald.
No, that was the brain surgeon.
Was the brain surgeon a hot female What did you think would happen? I would just drop down on my hands and knees and eat your pussy out in your wheelchair?
No, but I thought you would at least take me along on the adventure of a lifetime to get out of this mess I repeat, you got us into.
Sister Carissa, I honest to God don't know how to respond to that. I don't know how to respond to most things you're telling me right now because you're trying to make me feel guilty, but I don't feel it. I don't feel 1 ounce of remorse for what I've done to you or Marble. Y'all were weaklings.
Let me go along with you.
To where? Boise, Idaho?
I mean, maybe.
I gotta be real clear with you, sister. Wherever we end up going, I'm not eating you out. You're too old and you're too gross. And I'm not gonna scissor you or let you eat. Maybe I'll let you and me out. That's fine.
I don't need sexual pleasure. I just need friendship. You're all I have left.
You have Sister Marble too. Let's get the gang back together. Let's get you, me, Sister Marble. We'll all be equals in this. We'll do it 30, 30, 30. And then I'll have the extra 10%. I'll be 40.
Marble only calls me from an undisclosed payphone.
Who the fuck uses payphones? What's Sister Marble doing?
I don't know where she is, honestly. I just know she loves mixing spray paint.
When did she get that passion? Never knew that about her.
It's every marble's dream. That, and winning the sand marble tourney.
I always thought the biggest marble dream would be to win the Marble Olympics.
She had smaller aspirations, I suppose, but it's all she ever talked about. Goes to show you never listen.
Do you want to come along with me or not, bitch? I'm not going to take you along if you keep treating me like shit.
Yes, yes, yes.
Are you going to stop treating me like shit, making me feel bad?
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Can you say I'm sorry, too?
For what exactly?
We'll work on it.
I'm sorry, Sister Corissa.
Oh. Oh fuck.
What? What is it?
I just got a DM.
From who? One of your little side pieces?
Someone just slid into our DM, sister.
Who?
Someone that calls himself Big Red.
Big Red? That sounds really familiar. Did we work with him in any sort of campaign?
Big Red, like the chewing gum.
Oh, the Big Red! Oh my god, do they want like a brand deal? Tell them to send it over. We'll kill like 10 more cats for like a few boxes of it. Do they want us to like chew Big Red while we're killing cats?
Well, it's not Wrigley's Big Red gum, but it's a man named Big Red, similar to the cinnamon-flavored rubber treat.
Okay. Who's he associated with, like Hubba Bubba? Listen, can they also send Laffy Taffy?
He's not a chewing gum magnet, but he says he has a private island.
That sounds perfect. Ask him if we're invited. Also ask him if he's the police.
It's off the coast of Goat Island. Wait, I think this is a fucking prank.
Oh my god. Fuck, if Goat Island were real, we would be fucking set.
Everyone knows Goat Island isn't real.
I know, but like it could be. I mean, magic's real and nobody thinks that's real. Maybe he's not bullshitting. Tell him to give us undisputable evidence that Goat Island is real. And we'll meet him there. And if he wants me to serve as his princess, I will.
Chris Angel is so fucking sexy. Do you think he'd let us stay at the Luxor in Las Vegas? That's definitely real. Goat Island? Definitely fake.
I mean, Chris Angel, he's a handsome fucking man. I mean, I know I said I wasn't into that gay shit, but I would totally do like a threesome with like you, me, and him. I won't go down on you, but he could like, put it in you, then put it in me, then put it back in you.
Have you ever seen this shirtless pic of him in handcuffs and chains? Piss on me.
Can you pull it up for me, sister? Come on. Don't hold out on a bitch.
Here it is. Fuck, I want him to piss on me.
Oh, I didn't know you were so kinky, sister.
He can fill up my colostomy bag with me a night, eh?
No, no. You're losing me. I'd rather go to Goat Island, sister.
Big Red sent proof. And a way to get there. Should we try it out?
Fuck it. What do we got to lose? As long as you can prove it's not the FBI, I'll just put that trust in you, although I don't know if I should. I got FBI, CIA, NSA, KGB, I got them all after me.
Book us 2 tickets. Well, 3 technically, because I'll need one for my wheelchair for the first flight to Tennessee.
Sister Corissa, I don't know how to tell you this, but we're on the no-fly list. We're gonna have trouble even renting a car. The cult van was destroyed.
That's a bummer.
How far away is it? How many miles?
Well, it's a 12-hour drive to this museum in Tennessee. We'd better get started.
Well, let me hop on your lap. Here, let me cuddle in here. And why don't you drive us there? How fast does this thing go?
Oh, that's cozy.
Don't get any ideas, sister. We're doing this purely out of necessity. And make sure you take the back roads, because I don't want anybody on the highway seeing us.
It goes about 3.
3 what?
3.
Hello and welcome to MOATAIF. Welcome back. I always say welcome back and I never mean it. I always think that there's been more time, but for us, there has been a momentary delay between recording episodes, about like 2 weeks since we've recorded episodes. So to me, it feels like welcome back, but to the viewers, it's like, why the fuck does he always say welcome back? I guess it's just part of the saying at this point, you know, what can you say? Folks, I've recently been re-listening to some of the early episodes of this show, and maybe I'll include a few clips while I'm editing this of some of the past discussions that we had in this episode. And at the time, I was 19, and it was September 6th, 2015, and I was about to turn 20. And we talk about, as you'll hear in this next little clip, we talk about how I'm just feeling anxious about turning 20, how I feel like it's a big deal, and how it's making me feel. So we'll splice that in here. Enjoy that. I am turning 20 in 2 hours and 2 minutes.
Yeah, math.
And I'm going to go through a midlife crisis. I kind of already did while I was driving today, because I've been alive for 2 decades, and the last like few hours of that, while I was like 19 and a reckless spirit, bro, like a teenager, I was delivering pizzas. And the other weird thing...
For Pizza Hut.
Yeah. And the other weird thing is that I'm going to now have a 2 in front of my age. I just thought of this.
I didn't even think about that. That's weird.
Just thought of this. Like, think about it.
We're 20-somethings.
Yeah, like, we're 20-year-olds. And what have we done with our lives?
Nothing.
I even said when I turned 19, I was like, yeah, I might be spending my 19th birthday in Springfield, but I'll be spending my 20th in New York. I'm not.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, I know. Because I thought I would be living in New York by then. Tomorrow, for my birthday, we're going to the record store because we're horny for vinyls. And we're going to go to the record store. My grandma made dinner for me. And then we're all hanging out. Nicholas, Brianna, Nicole, Reagan, RG, and I are all hanging out. and we're going to have a good time, I think. And so maybe I'm not spending my 20th birthday in New York City where I want to live for the rest of my life. And maybe I've been alive for 2 decades, and maybe I have a 2 in front of my name now. And maybe I spent the last hours of my teenage years delivering pizza and then recording a podcast. But
that no one will listen to.
Right. Nicholas, if you're listening now, so I'm just kidding.
Text Ninja Turtles to 90210.
Yes. And you know, so maybe all that's not happening, but you know, tomorrow we're gonna have a good day. You know what I mean? I think it's gonna be a good day because I'm calling off of work. You heard it here first, folks. I'll technically be a 20-something now, like, you know, but I'm looking forward to it. Like, I think the next, you know,
10 years.
The next 10 years, I think, are gonna be very exciting for us. Don't say that to me because I'll kill myself right now.
That's weird. 10 years will be 30 years old.
20 years will be 40. And the amount of time that we've been alive now, we will be 40.
We'll be like, I just imagine every 40-year-old man is a fat, bald man.
I think for sure by the time I'm 40, I'll have gone through a midlife crisis. Probably when I'm 25, because I expect to die by 50. I don't expect to die by 50. Think of this right now. The average life expectancy is what? 75 to 78? We're gonna die in 50 years.
Statistically.
Yeah, statistically, we will be dead in about 50 years. That's terrifying to me. I know it's 50 years, but I want to be immortal. Who doesn't, though?
Yeah, I'd love to be immortal.
I would love to be immortal, even if it means downloading my brain on a chip. We've talked about this before. You download your brain on a chip, and then they put it in a robot.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Happened in Chappie.
Really?
Yeah.
Wasn't that beautiful? That's from episode, I don't even know, 2, 3? I can't even tell you what episode it's from. But here we are, all these years later, still doing this show. We took some time off in the middle, but we're still doing this great show, and today is September 6th, 2021, and tomorrow I turn 26. Now, of course, this episode goes up a lot later than that, so now you've got a little bit of an insider's peek as to how we do this, but But this is a weird time in my life because, as you heard in that clip, I talked about having a potential midlife crisis, or I guess what I would hope would be a quarter life crisis at 25. And folks, God, did I know myself, because maybe it didn't happen until about 26, like right about to turn 26. But I'm 25 right now. In the last couple of weeks, I have been having what I would call a quarter life crisis. And maybe it's normal, because I feel like, this is a similar crisis that I feel like that you went through, RJ, after you graduated college, where you're like, well, now that I don't have that structure underneath me, or that to fall back on to say, well, I'm in school, so like that's why I'm in school.
Yeah.
Now that's
it's
not
like,
a
what
thing.
do you do with yourself?
Exactly. And now I'm trying to make a career for myself. I'm trying to figure out what my career is, how I'm going to make a job out of of my passions. And I'm at the point where I feel like I'm at a crossroads, and I'm like, on one hand, there's a path which I hope that I am able to follow, where I continue pursuing creative pursuits, and it continues or it pays off better than it has so far, but that maybe I'd be able to make a career out of that. That's always been my dream. And then there feels like this alternate path that I'm actually on, where I'm substitute teaching, waiting to get my teaching license to then potentially get a job as a drama teacher. And that has really put me in a true crisis, an existential crisis of, when do you give up on a dream, sort of? And when is a dream, when does a dream just become a hobby? And when do you have to accept that your dream might have to be a hobby? And then how do you find a job that allows you enough time to do that hobby in a way that makes you feel fulfilled? That's what I'm struggling with so far, because if it's always going to be a dream and never a reality, how do I live with that? Because this has always been something that I'm like, well, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it, when I graduate college. Well, now I graduated college and I'm crossing. I've arrived at the bridge, and the bridge is out. There is no bridge there, and I'm not too sure how to build a bridge, because I went to school to study theater, so I have to just pretend there's a bridge there. I don't know. So you can
it's a metaphorical bridge.
You can see my dilemma. So it's just interesting to go back and listen to that, because one of the things that I mentioned in that episode is, I'm like, well, you're college educated, I say to you, and you're like, well, yeah, I mean, you hadn't graduated yet, so you're like, yeah, I mean, almost completely college educated. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not college educated at all. And so now, 6 years later, I am college educated, so I know there are so many parts of my life that I know the Zach that recorded that in 2015 would absolutely be proud of. But I also know, just from my gut feeling, that there are also parts of my life that Zach from 2015 is confused by and struggling with. So that's just where I'm at, and I thought that would be an interesting little update, just because I recently came across that old conversation and thought that it would be nice to just kind of update where I'm at with that, because here we are again in the same circumstance of recording the day before my birthday. So felt like a nice thing to mention.
Yeah, I mean, MOATAIF on a certain level is like a personal diary for us.
Oh, absolutely. And so it's nice to be able to check in on these little things. And because, hey, in 4 years, we might still be doing this, and we might say, hey, 4 years ago, I wanted to be performing for a living, and now I am. So, hey, manifest it. Manifest it.
Yeah.
Folks, and RJ, not just the folks at home, but recently I think I've discovered that I have thalassophobia. Thalassophobia, which is the fear of the ocean.
Really?
Yeah. Now, not in any serious way, not in any like, oh my god, I could never go in the ocean, but the way that I think about it, the way that I started thinking about it, is just like, the ocean is so goddamn deep. It's so goddamn dark. And for years, I've always been fascinated by, like, the Titanic. And not just, like, the movie, but the actual Titanic. And when I moved, like, for instance, when I moved in with my dad and Alicia to the house in Forest Hills, I decorated my room the Titanic, like, the painted the walls blue and, like, had, like, this big ship's wheel clock that had, like, a picture of the Titanic on it, and I had...
That's so random.
I know. I had, like, a newspaper that said, like, 1,000 dead, and I had that on my wall.
Good God.
Like, yeah, it was... I was obsessed with the Titanic. I did in elementary school in the gifted program. We went out and I bought a model of the Titanic at Hobby Lobby, and my dad and I built that, and I would, like, play with it for years, like, as if it was a toy. I loved the Titanic, and part of the fascination is, like, well, it's still out there. It's like, it's in the ocean. It's not that it doesn't exist anymore, because it exists. It's just at the bottom of the ocean, rotting. And it's dark.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure James Cameron took, like, a film crew down there.
Yeah, he did. And you can see the footage of it, like, in the actual Titanic too. And over the years, you know, now it's started. Now, like, a lot of the recent news, because like I said, I've always been fascinated by the Titanic. A lot of the recent news is suggesting that the Titanic is about to fall apart. So it might actually no longer exist for much longer because of the rust and the corrosion and everything is getting to a point where now it's 100 years ago. It sank in 1912. So it's over 100 years ago.
You know, I can't say that I've had, like, a deep fascination with the Titanic, but I remember a few years ago we found out that they were making a Titanic VR game.
Yep.
Why haven't they made it yet?
I know, and maybe they have.
But when you're talking about the ocean, I'm not afraid of being in the ocean, like, at all, really. I mean, maybe, like, I'm like, oh, I hope a jellyfish doesn't touch me. I've had, like, fish touch my feet in the ocean, swimming in it, but I respect the ocean. It's fucking huge. Most of, like, the land we have on Earth is immense, but there's way more ocean than that, and it's a cruel mistress. Hurricanes and waves. And
I know.
Like, have you ever watched compilations on YouTube of, like, the worst, like, storm ships have ever been in?
And, like
you'll see, like, waves that are, like,
hundreds
20
of feet,
times bigger than, like, 20 times bigger than the ship is. That's scary.
It's really scary, and that's a lot of what...
Nobody could find you. That's
a lot of what this Thalassophobia is. There's, like, a subreddit dedicated to it that I've been scrolling through, which actually provides some of the fodder for today's discussion. But it's really interesting just because a lot of it is just the fact that it is so big. A lot of the images that get posted will be like like you're saying, a ship that is sailing through, and it's like a bigger than a cruise ship. You know, it's these huge cargo liners, and they're, like, getting absolutely decimated by waves and just absolutely
makes it seem like nothing.
And that's terrifying to me. And I've been on cruises. I've been on 2 cruises, and it is a little intimidating when you feel like the fact, like, oh shit, I'm rocking back and forth, we're on a boat. It's creepy. And, like, when I went with my dad on a cruise, my dad bought the cheapest room possible, which was on the lowest possible deck that you could get on, but it did still have a porthole. But 9 times out of 10, we were underwater in our room. And, like, that's scary.
Did you see fish and shit?
Yeah, like, you would see, like, fucking, like, animals, but mostly it'd be, like, waves. Like, you could see, like, that we were, like, right where the wave line was. And so, like, you could only barely see, like, every once in a while, if the waves were low, could you actually see, like, the sun or anything like it. Oh, I'm, like, scaring myself just thinking about it.
That's actually, like, creepy.
It's creepy.
I would never want to go on a cruise ship. I would never really want to go on any boat for an extended period of time, especially across the ocean, because no matter what we build, we're still at the mercy of the ocean, and the ocean's way more powerful than we could ever be.
Right. I know it was 1912, but they thought that the Titanic was indestructible. They didn't even put enough fucking lifeboats on it. They didn't respect the ocean. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And so then you think about today, well, of course we're going to think that the, Royal Caribbean's biggest, the biggest ship in the world, or at least the biggest passenger ship in the world, of course we're going to believe that that's safe, but it could tip over. It could break in half. It could.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you have to take into account that somebody is piloting it and they're just a human and they can make a mistake. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm afraid to fly. Everybody says it's really safe, but I just don't like the fact that I'm putting my faith in two humans.
Exactly.
I hate it.
I don't like it either. I can't shake that feeling. And so yeah, for some reason I've gone on a Carnival cruise and I've gone on a Disney cruise. You know, I had a privileged childhood, but it was definitely there's something about it that's always scary. I mean, I've never swam any deeper in the ocean than like my knees. You know, I don't go much further into the ocean because I don't like feeling stuff under my feet. I don't like feeling stuff brush up against me. And I can't swim all too well. I can swim in a pool. I'm not going to drown, but I can't like tread water like that. So I certainly can't swim in the ocean unless I have like a life preserver, I guess. But I never have. So therefore,
even then it's kind of dangerous to go out farther than you can actually touch.
For sure. And I'm like, no thank you. I haven't seen Jaws, but like I've seen Jaws. So I'm like, I'm not going to go out in the water. But there are people who do, and I'll have linked in the description the I fucking love science article that I'm pulling this from, but it's pulling from Reddit. And all of these posts are from r/Thalassophobia. But one that's also interesting is r/submechanophobia, which is the fear of man-made things underwater. And so
that's a fear?
Yeah, that one's really interesting, and I think that one more so describes my if I actually was diagnosed with one of these phobias, I think it would probably be submechanophobia. Because what scares me is thinking like looking at that scary, dark, calcified photos of like the rotten Titanic falling apart at the bottom of the ocean, or you know, the HMS Victoria, which collided in the front, and by the way it sank, it dove straight down into the ocean and buried its nose in the ocean, so it sticks straight up and down like you can go to like Lake Michigan or Lake Superior and take a sunken boat tour, a glass bottom boat tour, where you can just go and look at all the sunken ships in Lake Superior, and
that's pretty cool.
Including the Edmund Fitzgerald, which is one of the biggest ships to be sunk.
That's cool.
So this person, this is P Team Pterodactyl. And he says, I was diving off the coast of Florence, Oregon with some friends, and we found a body on the ocean floor in the creepiest condition possible. He was a surfer who'd gone missing a few days prior, so he wore a wetsuit with his legs, arms, and head exposed. Crabs had eaten the flesh from his exposed bits, so basically he was a torso with a skull and skeletal limbs. The creepiest dive of my life, though, two buddies of mine and I went on a night dive in Puget Sound hunting prawns. It was about 1 a.m., and we're about 100 feet deep, the pitchest black you could imagine. We used to do this thing on night dives where we'd get in a circle, turn off our lights, and stir up the water and watch the bioluminescence float around us like stars in a black watery space. Beautiful. Only this one time we turn off our lights, stir up the water, and the water glows just enough to reveal a fourth person sitting in our circle.
What?
But we were at a dive resort, so it wasn't odd to see another diver, except it was 1 a.m. and we'd seen no one else prepping a dive at the dock. He was also alone, which was odd considering the dangerous conditions of a night dive in those waters, and he didn't have fins or gloves on. So that's something that's interesting. But certainly the skeleton part, I could not imagine the fear.
Hold on, was the last one, is that where it left off on?
Yeah. Well,
was that like paranormal?
I don't know. It says, I don't know how he swam so well without fins or didn't get hypothermia without boots or gloves. We wore dry suits because it was so cold, but this dude was in a wetsuit with exposed skin.
That's creepy.
Yeah, it's certainly creepy.
That actually is creepy because it's like the ocean is like, you don't know what kind of shit's happening under there.
Exactly. And
there could be paranormal shit happening, ghost fish.
Dead, you know, the ghost of the dead fucking surfer that they just said went missing and had his fucking skull and skeletal limbs eaten off. That, you know, that's his ghost. You know, that's his ghost.
Yeah.
Glorious Penguin says, I was diving in Thailand, and we were at a site diving where there were 2 steep hills underwater full of rock formations, coral, etc. Between these 2 areas was a sandy bottom with scattered rocks ranging between the 1 to 5 meters across, all full of holes and full of life. We were swimming from one hill to the next and inspecting these rocks along the way. I was swimming along one large one when I got whacked in the side of my stomach very hard. It startled the shit out of me, and I quickly back off. The dive instructor noticed and came over, and we inspected what happened. That's when a giant moray eel, I'm later told it was actually a giant moray. He was absolutely impressive, or massive, never seen one so big, was easily a couple meters in length, and was probably as wide as my head. We assumed I had passed too close without noticing, and he attacked. Luckily, he did not persist. That's so scary. I don't know what I would do really if I came across a fucking giant, like, eel. Ugh.
Even in this description, they didn't sound that big. I thought that's just how big they were.
I don't want to see a big... I'm swimming in the ocean, right? I guess I should be expecting to see big-ass fish if they come up. I guess, like, that's just, like, part of swimming in the ocean, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't go underneath without, like, a harpoon gun.
Really?
Oh, I would want to kill anything that would even remotely get close to me like that.
Well, but
if an eel tried to attack me, that shit fucking... Wait, no, it was a stinger that killed Steve Irwin.
You're right. Have you watched, have you had a chance to see My Octopus Teacher yet on Netflix?
Oh, yeah.
Fucking
cried my
so
eyes out
beautiful.
seeing that.
Now, see, if you went down there with a harpoon gun, now you know that an octopus...
Well, I wouldn't kill an octopus.
Now you know that an octopus would be your best friend. But what if the eel had a once-in-a-lifetime connection with you?
Okay. Unlikely, but, like, maybe.
I think the octopus was unlikely. Do you think that's ever going to happen again to anybody ever?
No.
That's why it's so special.
Way too unique of a story. Yeah.
It
was beautiful.
Did you see it? It won an Oscar. It won Best Documentary.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, it certainly deserved it. If you haven't seen My Octopus Teacher, definitely, we both recommend it. 5-star flick for me. This is an account deleted, so anonymous. I was like 8 or 9 and snorkeling in Hawaii. I turned around in only a couple feet of water, and a turtle rammed me full speed in my face. Scared the hell out of me and broke my goggles. Don't know what the hell it was doing.
Wait, what?
He was this kid, or this person, well, it said it was 8 or 9. So this kid was snorkeling in Hawaii, and when they, like, turned around, apparently a turtle, like, collided, hit them in the face and broke their goggles. That is pretty cute.
That's cute, though.
I really do love a good turtle. Turtles are really cute. You go to, like, a pond, and you're like, oh, look at that little turtle.
Yeah, when you have, like, the rare privilege of seeing one.
Oh, down here in Georgia, they're like feral cats. I'm not that that prevalent, but, like, we live by a pond, and there's like 4 or 5 of them in there. There's we see them pretty much everywhere we walk that has a pond. Maybe that's just normal because there's a pond, but...
Are they just small little turtles?
Oh, yeah, and sometimes we've seen, like, some bigger one, not like a tortoise or anything like that, but, like, some bigger-sized turtles. But, yeah, a lot of them are, like, these ones you see, like, swimming in water.
Shit, all I see are, like, squirrels and chipmunks.
Did you know that armadillos are in Georgia?
No.
Yeah, I had no idea, right? Like, armadillos seem like they're a desert thing, like a Texas, New Mexico, Arizona thing.
That's what I always thought.
But I see them just the other day, and this is off topic, of course, but just the other day, I saw my 5th dead armadillo, like, on the side of the road. It's crazy. Since I've lived here, it's been like a year, but it's still crazy.
Like maybe one time when I went to go visit my dad, I saw a dead one.
It's just hard to wrap my head around the fact that, like, armadillos can live here.
I thought they were a desert thing too.
Right. I guess it's like warm enough to be desert, I guess. Damn. Also, one thing that is interesting to note that is somewhat related but not, Jeff Probst of Survivor did an interview where he said that it was kind of like, the point is the new season of Survivor starts on like the 22nd of September. And so they're obviously just promoting that. And part of what they asked was, like, what went into making it possible to get back on and, get this season filmed. And one of the things that he mentioned was that they considered doing shows in Hawaii, or a season in Hawaii or in Georgia. And one of the islands that they list for the possible locations in Georgia is Skidaway Island, where I go walk all the time. Yeah, and every time I go to this place, from the first time I've been to Skidaway Island to still to this day, every time I go there, I'm like, God, they should do Survivor here. And if they don't do Survivor here, like, I'm going to do, like, a local Survivor here, because it's so remote. It's so tropical. It looks like where they filmed Survivor. And so to have that validation that after all this time, they actually did consider filming on Skidaway Island in Georgia.
Well, fuck, they might at some point.
Exactly, they might. But, of course, then it was like the COVID never got better here, so, you know.
Are there any people that live there?
Yeah, there's people that there's like houses on Skidaway Island, but there's like a state park, and there's parts of it that are completely like isolated, and there are islands off of Skidaway Island that are only accessible by like boat.
Okay, that's what I always thought Survivor had to be like.
It's pretty isolated from like a civilization, but sometimes you look at where they film on Fiji, and it's like, well, okay, they could, like, if they you know, rowed their boat over, you know, I'm sure it's like a mile, 2 miles even, but still it's like they could get over to civilization. But I digress. User GWCI fan, God only knows what they're a fan of. I was diving with some friends and found a fisherman's glove with a hand still inside it. We brought the glove to the local police, and they told us they hadn't received any kind of a report of a guy with a missing hand. Like, I mean, so like, did somebody just lose their hand and go, ah, shit, like, it's gone?
I feel like he probably is dead in the ocean, and his hand is like detached.
Yeah.
That's what my first thought was.
Yep, because nobody's gonna just. Well, I mean, if you just lose your hand at sea, I mean, I guess you're going to have to just accept that you need a prosthetic, right? I mean, if he is still alive, what's the point in reporting it?
Yeah, why would you ever report that? And how would he ever lose it? Like, what happened?
I don't even know.
I feel like that would have to be something nefarious, like the mob took him out.
That's what I'm saying,
cut off his hand.
like, give us your hand! Like, yeah, exactly.
You're going to steal from us? We're going to cut off your hand.
Next time, you're going to be sleeping with the fishes.
Yeah.
And they've already got your taste. They've already got a taste of your meat. Except the mobsters were wrong because the glove protected the hand.
Imagine though if imagine how pissed you'd be if you found out that like your hand was found though, but like, it was never reported to you because you never reported it.
Exactly. Like he's listening to
I'd
this.
I'd keep my hand bone. Like I'd frame it.
He's listening to this podcast right now, going, "Fuck! Someone found my hand while they were diving."
Probably my hand.
Right.
Where was it at again?
It doesn't say. It just says my friend and I were diving.
He's like, could be mine.
Could be
I would frame the fuck out of my hand.
Oh, like if somebody brought it to me years later, I'd already gotten used to my robotic hand.
Yeah.
I'd be like, that's my hand. And I would tell everybody the story about how I lost my hand at sea. And then years later, found it listening to an obscure podcast.
Yeah, that would be an amazing story.
Let's see if user Ender Wiggin III's story is as interesting. I was diving a spearfishing spot about 30 miles offshore, and I was 60 feet underwater. There I was, swimming along, when I noticed a school of mahi-mahi. There were about 30, maybe 40 of them. These fish were all between 2 and 5 feet long. They were so beautiful, with their sides flashing all different colors. That's when I felt the tug on my leg. I looked down at my legs to see a 12-foot tiger shark pulling on my dive fin and taking me along for the ride. In a second, he had ripped the fin off my foot. The shark then swam away, but kept circling just at visual range. I think he was still curious about how I tasted. I kept an eye on him the whole time while I was swimming back to the boat. Scariest moment I have ever had in the water.
That would be like the scariest moment of all time.
Yeah, just of my life.
Yeah, what would be scarier than that?
Right, I can't even imagine.
Being circled by a tiger shark?
Yeah, and like while you're in a school of fish. Like, I feel like if you're in a school of fish, assume there's a shark nearby. Like,
right, you're prey.
Right, get out of there. I mean, even if a shark is able to differentiate between human and fish, do you really want to take that chance? Like,
no. You're like the big juicy snack to it. Like the The fish are just like a couple of, like fucking Cheez-Its.
Exactly.
And you're like a big hamburger.
The next part is what led me to submechanophobia, except this isn't on submechanophobia, but I'm going to have to text it to you because it's on my phone here. But this next clip, and maybe I'll include it in the the YouTube version of our show, shows a freighter ship passing right above a diver. And I've been down on like the Savannah. I mean, I'm sure you've seen them too, but down in the Savannah River, these things come through there and they are fucking humongous. And to even think that I'm diving and one of them is going to pass over top of me, that's fucking scary.
That is scary.
It's really scary. Like, that is really scary.
It's huge. Mm-hmm. It looks like a blimp.
Yeah, and so they tell us all the time when you take a tour down in Savannah, when you're down on River Street, they say every year they end up dredging it more and more so that they can get bigger and bigger boats through the river. And so, like, there like so many people drown each year, and like because it's just like deeper and deeper water every year. But it makes me think, like, because what it looks like, that person is swimming in a really small, because they're like all the way at the bottom in the video, they're like all the way at the bottom of this like small. Once that boat passes over, there's hardly any depth for them, and that's so scary. It kind of reminds me of the scene in Breaking Bad where Jesse is like under the train as they're doing the heist, and then the train takes off and he just has to lay there as a train passes over.
That is kind of what that is. Yeah, that thing is so deep underwater. That is crazy.
It's scary. That person's so lucky that they didn't get caught up like in the draft of that, or like get sucked up into the propeller, or like just been hit by a fucking freighter boat that's suddenly coming through the canal. That's scary.
According to this comment, this guy who did this was like a thrill seeker who knew that this was a shipping lane, and that even if he had like a flag or anything on him, they're never going to slow down for him.
Nothing he could have done. Yeah, that's crazy though. But regardless, I mean, so if it was an accident, it would be fucking scary.
That's in Michigan. Crazy.
User T Play Games. I like kayaking when I get the chance, but one day in a lake up in Glacier Nation Park, Montana, the most beautiful place I've ever been, and I totally recommend it. I still can't wait to go there. When I saw a small boat, a little vintage-looking tiny motorboat, the tiny little mini speedboats you always see in 70s movies set in Miami or something, but just a few feet underwater, perfectly preserved. I could reach down and touch it. There was no sign of damage, no signs of why it sunk. It was really eerie. I had to leave because for some reason it just freaked me out. The idea that something could sit inches from the air but still submerged for years probably. It made me so uncomfortable and I don't know why. I
don't think I have this submechanophobia.
Yeah.
I'm like looking at the subreddit, like the top post of all time, and I'm just like, I don't get it.
Yeah, to me there's something creepy about it. I definitely think it flips something for me.
I could see how it would be creepy, but it doesn't like invoke like a emotional response for me at all.
This one, I remember this one was kind of creepy. This one's user Make You Think. I was diving off the coast of Fiji and we went through a natural tunnel, which I would just never do. A 10-meter cave passage through a rock formation. So we start swimming through the cave, and suddenly the lighting was weird, like the blue tint from the water had suddenly been replaced by a red one. Now, all divers will know that this isn't only weird because the color changed, but also because red is the first color to disappear at a certain depth, usually between 30 feet, and we were over 70 feet deep. Also, bear in mind, this was a late morning on a sunny day. So imagine this scene. Me and my dive buddy are going through an underwater cave, and suddenly everything, for no apparent reason, is tinted red, a color that you are literally supposed to be unable to see while diving at that depth during the day. Upon exiting the cave, everything was back to blue. I thought it was just me, so I didn't signal to go back up. After the dive, my buddy asked me if I'd seen the water tint red too. We can't explain it, and the folks from the local dive shop had no idea what we were talking about.
That's creepy.
The first comment says, like, blood red, because that idea is freaking me out. And he says, sorta, it wasn't quite crimson, and I had full visibility. At the same time, it was just weird, but not unnerving at the same time. This girl says, creepy. My first thought was that you were going to discover a shark attack victim or something. I'm like, yeah, I guess I didn't think of that.
It's weird that you're not even supposed to be able to see red. I think that just shows how little we know about the ocean.
Right.
I mean, you could probably still see red.
The last one on the last one on the page just mentioned that this person went swimming with a cut in their arm and attracted a shark. Like, well, of course, you shouldn't go swimming if you're actively bleeding. I mean, like, that was
in the
just
ocean.
stupid, yeah.
That would sting, too.
Right, like, dumbass.
The salt?
Dumbass.
You know, it scares me, though, to know that... You know there's a shark attack in the Ohio River by Cincinnati?
Really?
The sharks are swimming upstream.
Oh, my gosh. Is it flooded or something? Why are they swimming upstream?
I don't know exactly why. Let me see if I can look it up.
I know sometimes dolphins will come up the Savannah River, but it still connects them back to the ocean. So, like, that's really confusing that sharks are coming all the way up the Ohio River. From where?
Shark attacks Ohio woman. Wait, this was in it. Let me see if... I need to look up shark attack Ohio River. Well, apparently there wasn't an attack, but there was a bull shark found in the Ohio River.
Did it get dumped there, or it actually swam upstream like you were saying?
I don't know.
Unclear.
What I just read didn't... I could have swore I'd read something about this.
Fake news. Fake news.
Fisherman captures 3,000-pound great white shark in Great Lakes.
Oh my God.
In Lake Michigan.
That's
You should
so
see this
scary.
ugly sumbitch. He's so proud of killing it. I gotta send this shit to you.
Yeah, I'll include it. Oh, I'm farting. Oh my God, he's so proud. Look at him. That's like
what I'm saying. Like,
this is the only time I've ever like seen one of these photos and not felt like disgusted. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because like at least sure, the shark probably didn't deserve to die just by being a shark that is in the Great Lakes, but obviously we don't want a 3,000-pound great white shark in the lake. So
no, he doesn't belong there. Get him out of there.
So it's like I feel it's kind of like the fact it's like I'm sad that Harambe got killed, but like I can
I'm definitely
it's like
sad
the
about
same
Harambe.
thing. It's like this shark didn't necessarily have to die, but like it had to die because of where it was. Yeah, that's a fucking huge shark. 3,000
Imagine finding that shit in Lake Erie. Like, you never expect that shit in Lake Erie.
No, and so like I'm glad that guy killed it, but you know, if you're taking just a photo of the deer, the innocent little deer you killed, that's just small penis syndrome.
Oh, absolutely.
That
Hunting
guy
like a...
in this photo has the biggest Johnson I've ever seen in my entire life. I know for a fact that guy has a giant cock.
Oh, absolutely. That's big dick energy. That's like the definition of it. Like, look how big his dick is, like in that smile.
I know,
He's
and like
I kill a great
he
white.
did what Ahab could never do, except Ahab
Literally.
wanted a whale, but still.
Who was that redneck piece of shit we went to high school with?
Forrest
that like
Parrot.
blew up a pig with... No, he blew up a pig with like thermite, I think it was.
I thought it was the parrots, wasn't it? Forrest Parrot.
No, it was that cockeyed sumbitch.
Oh, Matthew Parrot.
Oh, it was the parrots, wasn't it?
It's a
Yeah.
different parrot clan, but Matthew Parrot, yeah, the cockeye. Yeah, we don't support blowing up
Fuck
pigs.
that guy.
We don't support hunting deer or like at least
No.
taking a picture with it. I mean, if you're going to hunt something, hunt a great white shark like this man, Big Dick Lamanowitz, the biggest dick man I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, that guy is a local hero.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And doesn't that say August? It says August 20th, 2021. This just happened like a few weeks ago. Like, I mean, like, what the fuck? This guy's a hero.
That's hot top. That what you're reading is women prostitutes being replaced by sex sheep and camels in Kabul brothel after Taliban. That's another story we could touch on. I mean, it's
prostitutes being replaced by sex sheep and camels. You know, that's interesting.
What website is theinquisitor.com?
I just read an article, another I fucking love science article that they shared about a poor chimpanzee who they rescued from a brothel over somewhere over there. I'm not going to name a country, but somewhere over there. They rescued a chimp who had been shaved, who was like flea bitten and had been like fucked over and over and over in a brothel. And that's just disgusting, folks. I mean, like, that's just disgusting. Don't do that.
That is disgusting. I was reading this thing. I think it was from the Cosmic Trigger 3, which was, it was written like 25 years ago. but they were talking about how somebody in they were doing some sort of practical joke. Somebody in like Nigeria where they were going out and they were sedating the gorillas. No, maybe this is in a Vice article. I think it was in a Vice article. They were sedating gorillas and then dressing them up as clowns and then releasing them out into the wild. In this like safari land, and like the game wardens were getting pissed. They're like, we don't know who's doing this. Somebody's dressing our gorillas up as clowns.
That's so funny.
And of course the Vice article was a slant though, but like, this is animal cruelty at its finest. Like, you can't like sedate. And apparently they're unable to get out of the clown outfit on their own.
Aww.
So like the game wardens have to like tranquilize them again just to take the clothes off and the makeup.
That's so sad. But at least they can tranquilize them and get the clothes off and not have to shoot and kill them like they did at the Cincinnati Zoo when they did what they did to Harambe.
Rest in fucking peace. Rest in fucking peace.
Well, folks, I think that's gonna do it for this week's episode. If this triggered you, if you're afraid, if you have these same fears, hey, I'm sorry, but don't go into the ocean if you have a cut on your arm. That's a big one. If you see a school of fish while you're underwater, you probably shouldn't be there. And same thing, if it's a shipping lane, don't do it unless you're trying to get your kicks off. But just remember, like David Carradine, if you get your kicks off too much, you might die, like he did of autoerotic asphyxiation. So until next time, folks, stay moat.
And dicks out for Harambe.
Tornado. No, can't do it.